Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. Merry Christmas. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early. It's 4:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I already downloaded one video today, and that's probably still downloading right now. And I told you guys in that video, there's a couple other things I want to talk about. I went on Twitter, and there's a site on there called Right Wing Watch. It just shows some particularly offensive people on the right and some of the stuff they say. And a couple of the ones I came across today, I just have to talk about. I've told you guys, I grew up with women. I grew up, my mother and my sister. Briefly, I'll tell you, I came from a normal middle-class family. My father was a hardworking man, 2 jobs. He was a state park ranger, ran a state park here, and he had a job at night too. And then my mom was a homemaker. I had a younger sister. Until my father died of brain cancer when I was 9 years old. And he was gone within 6 months. And he told me, Daryl, you are the man of the family now. And he taught me how to shoot his guns and all this stuff. And it was a very, it wasn't just a title. He meant it. I'm the man, I'm there to protect my mother and my sister from now on at 9 years old. And it was terrifying back then. Part of me is really grateful. Is really, that, like I always tell you guys, I try to look at it as glass is half full as opposed to half empty. I look at the benefits of some of the worst things that happened to me throughout my life, like addiction or like this. It made me a stronger man. But more than that, it made me realize that women are people. I know that's, for some people it's hard to believe. They're just like men. They have the same drives, the same desires, the same fantasies as men. No matter what John Adams says in the Constitution or what the Bible says, we're all people. We all have the same desires, drives, needs, wants. All right. So in this video, I recommend you use it. It'll be right on top. It's unbelievable, unbelievably offensive, because the guy basically is trying to defend striking women. Like it should be legal if a woman gets too uppity. She needs to freaking. It makes me angry. Part of me, I look at the way I'm not making excuses here. I almost, like I've talked about this in other videos, I almost feel bad. Don't get all over me yet. The way these young men grow up. I remember being 14, 15, 16 years old and going to the malls, the local malls. I wasn't on a computer. I wasn't on a cell phone. Every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday, I'd take a bus to the local mall and just go and socialize with other packs of young people, of women, mainly of girls, going there to meet girls every weekend before I could even drive. This was the main thing. And we'd go up to girls and talk to them and flirt and get numbers starting at 13 years old. There was no cell phone. There was no typing on the computer. That's how we did it. And today they don't have that. They sit at home, and there is so much lost in these communications. I've had so many miscommunications with text because you can't see somebody. You're not face to face, and you're missing something there. Not making excuses, but this is just one of the things. So anyway, this guy, John Miller, he starts off by saying that, unbelievably, he says, striking women is as American as apple pie. He actually says this. That's how the video starts out. He goes on to, I don't know if this guy is a legal scholar or if he went or a constitutional scholar, or he went to university, or he's got degrees in this, or he doesn't seem all that knowledgeable, all that well schooled. But he talks about John Adams, it's like he was there with John Adams and his wife Abigail Adams, writing the Constitution, and he talks about how Abigail Adams wanted. And he goes like this when John Adams was writing the Constitution, which just shows me when I'm making my point, on a keyboard writing the Constitution. He does this in the video, right? He actually makes these movements. That's my point there. So these people are just the kids, the young people today. There's a lack of social interaction, of how things actually used to work. So he talks about John Adams and Abigail Adams, like he was actually there first person. He says Abigail Adams asked John, her husband, to put something in the Constitution. And most people thought it was about women's rights, but Abigail just didn't want to be hit anymore. And then he goes like this. John Adams told her, "Forget it, woman." It's a big joke. It's such an offensive. But the way he says it, like he was there. Like he actually heard, he's like first person telling you, this is what John Adams said, and this is the way he said it, and this is what, Whenever somebody does that, like talks about like they know what God said, or Jesus, or John Adams, or Abraham Lincoln, it makes a flag goes up right there with the way these people talk, and they make it believable for some other people. All right, so he goes on to talk about men's rights. There was no men's rights movement, which is just stupid in itself, him saying that. I think the real problem here, he goes on to say that if the boomers, he talks about boomers tell the young people today to just go out and get married, and then he says, well, did you ever see the women out there? I guess he thinks the women, he calls them promiscuous in these other words. I think the big problem here, and this is a problem that's been going on probably for decades or centuries, is insecure men have a hard time realizing that women are actually people just like them. The same desires, they fantasize. They fantasize about men, other men, men's parts. They have desires. They self-pleasure. They don't live, breathe, and die and exist solely for that one husband of theirs and the children, and that's what these people want to believe. To me, this is an insecure man. I've never hit a woman. I have never laid a finger on a woman in my life, and I've never been in a relationship where a woman hit me. If you have confidence, if you are secure in yourself, first of all, you don't tolerate a relationship like that. Needy people sacrifice things or overlook things because they want to be wanted, they want to be needed. Whenever a woman would show any signs of this kind of behavior, like going to hit me or something like that, I would realize that there's something wrong, something wrong with the way she was, something that happened in her youth or something. But I wouldn't get involved. I won't get involved. I deserve more than that. I deserve better. And I think that's the problem with people, with young people like this. First of all, they think that people, young guys like this, think that women are just there solely for them, just as gifts for their desires and their wants. It's hard to comprehend how some men could think like this. It's a lack of self-confidence. Honestly, I would recommend that these guys go out in public places, concerts, parks, museums, galleries, anywhere, and go out and interact. Libraries. Just yesterday, it was Christmas Eve, and the only people in the library were like 5 female librarians. And I just started chatting with them. It was me and them. And I wasn't hitting on them. I wasn't flirting with them, but I was just talking to them as people. And I find I love women. I enjoy their company. I enjoy their view on things, their unique view that's not like mine. And I appreciate that. These guys should get off the computer, get off the cell phone, and just get out there. It's still possible today. One more thing. I watched this. This is one of my favorite movies. This movie here, A Bad Mom's Christmas, it would make these incels' heads explode if they watch this. There's male strippers in here and women behaving like actual people with actual desires and needs and wants and fantasies. Guys, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is have confidence in yourself. Be confident of yourself. Don't realize what you're capable of, and get out there and actually interact with women. Enjoy the differences. That's the best advice I could give you for now. The video's down below. It's offensive as you can imagine. Just unbelievable. It's only about, maybe a minute long. you guys watch it if you could stomach it. All right. Have a good Christmas.